True. Nervous. Very dreadful nervous. But why will you say that I am mad? Disease has sharpened my senses, not destroyed them. Above all, the sense of hearing is acute. I hear all things in the heaven, the earth. I hear many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. I think it was his eye. He had the eye of a vulture. Pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. So very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. You should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. With what caution. With what foresight. I went to work. Every night, about midnight. Turned the latch of his door and opened it. I made an opening sufficient for my head. I put in a dark lantern, all closed so that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed. See how cunningly I thrust it in. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? When my head was well in the bedroom, I undid the lantern cautiously. So much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights. But I found the eye always closed. So it was impossible to do the work. It was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. Upon the 8th night, I opened the bedroom door slowly. And the old man sprang up in bed. Who's there? When I waited a long time without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it until a simple, dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot from out the crevice and fell upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. All a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it, it chilled the very marrow of my bones. It came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes, enveloped in cotton. It was the beating of the old man's heart. I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker, and louder every instant. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous. Now at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. The beating grew louder, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once. Once only. An instant I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily, finding the deed so far done. But for many minutes, my heart beat on with a muffled sound. At length, it ceased. The old man was dead. The eye would trouble me no more. After I disposed of the old man's body under the floor of his bed, there came a knocking at the street door. There entered 3 men, officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by the neighbor during the night. The shriek, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man, I mentioned, was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I led them to the bedroom. I brought the chairs in the old man's bedroom. Desired them to rest there from their fatigues, while I placed my seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. Before long, my head ached. I fancied a ringing in my ears until I found the noise was not within my ears. I talked more fluently, and with a heightened voice, the sound increased. It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I talked more quickly, more vehemently. The noise steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? Oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore, and still the officers chatted politely and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God. No, no. They heard. They suspected. They knew. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now again, louder, 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 violence! I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here is the beating of his hideous